Velma's capable of running the warehouse. She can certainly pick up her own cannabinoid.
Don't be so hard on her.
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must... So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No? I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why everyone's making such a fuss about you? But what are you doing on Mars? Ha! Maybe we're not so isolated as I thought. So, what can I do for you? Graham's always filling the airwaves with this propaganda, like it's done him any good. All it means is the tossball games get to us in fragments. Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a... I'd really like to help. Isaac was a... They were pretty distinct. Monarch doesn't exactly have a thriving dental industry, and sometimes he'd drink purpleberry punch by the liter, other times he'd keep betting on a losing team. Started owing the wrong people money. I don't know for sure, but I saw they're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can do.
Velma seem out of sorts to you?
He's always cranky.
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth, going about our lives.
This is the simple truth. We are all molecular machines. The body is a collection of atoms. The mind is a consequence of chemical reactions.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is our secret alley. Berta already pissed by those crates to market. Listen, that purple-toothed twerp had it coming. Not that anyone... And not that it's any of your business. Oh yeah? What are you saying exactly? Wow. Most of the pencil pushers around here cave as soon as you look at them funny. Fine, we're going.
Well, new business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 30...
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me. Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Noted.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now. Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you... Now, there's no need to humor me. I'm used to this.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board. Surviving alone isn't as easy. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been... Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the...
You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes... But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid...
Exactly. Intellectualism fuels the train to mankind's future, but the tracks the train runs on are forged from practicality.
Mr. Vicar, I don't want to be rude, but I don't think that me.
Yes, it's as though the good vicar has plucked the very words from my brain.
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI.
On our terms, mind you.
Returning to the board is your only chance if you hope to survive here on Monarch.
Indeed not. No worthwhile plan was ever simple. That's what I always say.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves seeing with a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive...
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in, do be careful. I've lost more than a few... Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could... What can I do? Then it's good that... I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as... Not intentionally, but for many years this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. As you may have noticed, and as the other corporations began... MSI's leader...
And how did that work out?
Most regard Monarch as a lost... But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance... It's humane, but it's also good business sense.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar.
Ms. Holcomb is our endlessly optimistic crew hand.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow creating the perfect environment for... No, they laughed in our faces. Yes, some of us stayed behind. I moved forward with our planned reforms, yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us. I don't think I realized how... Everything we did was legal and above board. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any...
Unnecessary evil for the...
That's exactly... Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. He and his followers call themselves the Iconoclasts.
I will admit, I am keen.
Well, be careful what you wish for. It isn't just that they do. Every radical act they commit cements how... He's lucky the board doesn't take him seriously enough to keep more than a few...
An Earth Directorate assault cruiser would change his tune. It's almost a shame.
Why Why wouldn't anyone? They own...
Without the board, chaos would overtake the system. Working within the established...
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community. I'm not a man to put pride before if membership on the board can ease our... Besides, I'm hopeful that...
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes, it'll be easier to explain once we have the Bolt 52. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored... What can I do for you? But that's terrible. What happened? I'm glad to hear you've dealt with them. They've been causing quite a bit of trouble around town. I've been consumed with other matters of late, but I would have dealt with them eventually. Of course. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated.